When is it time to start marketing your new pattern? You have a new design coming out. Maybe you have some samples done. You have the tech editing all squared away. You have some photos. You are ready to hit publish. But you haven't even started talking about your pattern yet. You haven't even done any kind of marketing effort. When should you start? This is a question I get all the time from my students inside of Pattern Partnership. It's a membership for knit and crochet designers who want to learn how to take their hobby into a business that's actually profitable. So in this episode, I want to touch really quickly on when you should start your marketing. If you have a new pattern coming out, start today. Right? Marketing is not just you going out and shouting, I have a thing, I have a new pattern. Marketing is so much more than that. It's about figuring out who your ideal audience is. It's about coming up with compelling stories. It's about collecting testimonials from your testers. It's about you really telling a story about this pattern that you're working on and how it will fit into the lives of your audience. And if you wait until the day you hit publish, you're too late, right? You're not going to get the numbers that you want. Of course, you can still start marketing after you've published your pattern. That's what the post-launch plan is all about. But if you are still in that beginner phase of, I haven't launched the pattern yet, I'm still pulling together all my information to go hit publish, start today. And what do you want to do in your marketing? You want to create a strategy for folks who don't know you. Okay, how are you going to introduce yourself to brand new audiences? In this climate, we're at the end of 2024. In this climate, that's through Reel, if that's your own platform. You can go do podcast episodes on other people's show, and that will bring in their audience. So if you have a small audience, you can still do this, right? Start with the Reels. If you don't have a podcast you can reach out to. Work with the yarn company who you're using the yarn. Figure out how to come up with like a newsletter blast or a blog or something to reach their audience. Because if they have the yarn, chances are their audience is looking for patterns that they can use that yarn for. Okay? So don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on collaboration. Don't sleep on reaching out to other people's audiences through podcasts or any of those other media. So that's what you could start to do now. You could start reaching out to those people that you want to work with. If you've already done that, now it's a time to start promoting those things, right? Sharing all those podcasts, sharing that email newsletter, sharing that blog post, sharing those things with your audience, because that will show your audience that you have this connection with this bigger brand, right? And then you're kind of siphoning off some of their popularity, for lack of better wording, okay? So when we're talking about the marketing plan before you even launch, there's so much you could be doing to reach your audience before you even say, hey, this thing is out here for sale, okay? And if you're seeing like a lot of folks are talking about like, hey, when is this pattern coming? I can't wait to make it, blah, blah, blah. Create a pre-sale, right? If there are interests in your pattern right now, let's get some folks to actually put some money down and say, hey, I want this, and have them purchase it, right? I talk about how to create a pre-order inside my program, Pattern Partnership, and I walk you through the steps, right? So you can create a pre-order. A lot of folks would be like, oh, create a wait list. And I love the idea of a wait list, but I love the idea of a pre-sale even more, because you're not just getting emails like you would in a wait list, right? People are just signing up to say, hey, I want it. When you do a pre-sale, people are not only saying they want it, they are putting money down to say, yes, I want it. And that money that they're giving you, or that they're paying up front, that could help with other things that you need. Like maybe you want to run some ads, maybe you need to pay your tech editor, maybe you need to pay your photographer. That money can be used to help you make your pattern even better. Okay? So you've already done all the pre-work. You've done your pre-sale. Now it's the day or the week of the launch. Now you're talking about the pattern. Now you're actually selling. You're coming off as not salesy, but now you're telling folks, hey, this thing is here, go buy. And what's the incentive for them to buy now? Because it's a digital product. It's gonna be there for weeks and weeks and years from now. But why now? So when you're thinking about your marketing strategy, yeah, you could say, hey, buy this now, but be clear why. And it could be that they get a discount, okay? You give them like a percentage off if they buy today. But you don't have to give a discount to offer that thing for sale. You need to really understand your ideal audience so you can figure out what will push them to want this thing even more. If you have a pattern that has a technique that's really popular now, you could provide tutorials. Maybe that's the selling point. You could tap into that FOMO where people are like, yeah, I want to learn how to do this thing. I want to make these things, but I don't see tutorials. Your pattern is there to solve that problem. So not only are they learning how to make your pattern, but they'll be able to learn how to make other patterns and learn a new skill. Right? So tap into why it's important that they get the pattern today. Any reason, but you need to understand your ideal audience and why they need to learn this thing now. It's like, hey, it's a Christmas gift, it's fast, you'll get it done a week before Christmas. Now's the perfect time to get it. That could be a selling point. And just because you use a selling point now, for example, you're saying, hey, Christmas is coming, holidays are coming, get this pattern now so you can finish it because it's quick. That doesn't mean you have to continue to use that as the selling point, because the reason for your pattern could be numerous. So maybe in February, it's like, oh, make this for your sweetheart. In July, it's make it by the pool, right? So don't feel like you have to stick with one reason why your audience should get this pattern now, but you really need to think critically of what is happening in the world and how does your pattern fit into all of that. So if you're like, hey, I don't know what else to post testimonials, post photos from your testers, show your audience why this thing matters. And I think that's what a lot of designers miss. They're talking about, oh, these socks are top down, they're blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh yeah, great. But why would I want it, right? Maybe it uses up every last bit of yarn because people hate having that leftover sock yarn. Or it makes a perfectly fitting heel. Maybe it's a technique that's like popular right now. Figure out what will compel your audience to want to make this thing now and talk about that. So if you have a pattern that's coming out and you are like, I don't know how to talk about it, let's brainstorm together. Inside my program, Pattern Partnership, when you become a member, you get monthly one-on-one coaching with me where we sit down and we can map out your marketing strategy. We could set up your email funnel so that you don't have to be constantly posting on social media, but you can create a lead magnet and an email sequence that works when you're asleep so that people are finding you, people are coming in, buying your pattern even when you are not available. So you can go on vacation and actually be on vacation. So if that's something that I can help you with, I would love to work with you. Go ahead, there's a link below that talks more about Pattern Partnership. And if you have questions, feel free to send me an email. Let's figure out your marketing strategy so that you can turn this hobby into a profitable business. Bye for now.